Hello and welcome to Bites Bread and Barbecue. Today we're on the lovely coast of eastern Italy in my grandmother's hometown of Viesta. This is the lighthouse in her hometown. The reason I'm showing you this is that my grandmother was the one that inspired me to make different types of bread and created a love for bread. So I thought we would start with this view of the lighthouse and move on to discuss different types of bread and when to use them. So stick around. Today we're going to discuss a few different types of bread. Why does a computer programmer have the right to talk about bread? Well, I really don't. I have no formal training in baking. I'm not a bread maker. I'm just a hobbyist. My grandmother inspired me to enjoy bread, and I've been trying to make different types of bread ever since. My grandmother used to make bread for the family every Saturday morning for everyone in the extended family, and it was the best bread that I've ever had. And for the last few years, I've been on a quest to try and reproduce it since she didn't pass that recipe down. And I know that what she would say if she knew I was using her on YouTube. She always fancied herself a philosopher, even though she didn't have a day of education in her life. But she would tell me, "Nella bocca per vivono la mosca." And the translation on that is, "In the open mouth lives the flies," because she would think I was talking too much. It was her favorite expression for people that she thought spoke too much. Today we're going to talk about Enriched Bread, Poolish, and Biga, what they are and when to use them. Enriched breads have a high fat content. This is usually supplied by eggs, milk, butter, or oil. Think soft, squeezable bread, something you'd buy in a wrapper in a supermarket, like Wonder Bread or Wholesome. You can make this at home, and these are same-day breads. You can make this the same afternoon that you decide that you're going to make bread, and it makes a delicious, soft crust bread that is perfect for sandwiches. These breads also contain sugar or honey. So there's fat in these breads, there's sugar in these breads, and this is what is considered an enriched dough. They taste delicious, and they're great for sandwiches and toast. You can also add different things to them. This is a enriched bread that was made with everything bagel spices, and it tasted like an everything bagel, and again was great for sandwiches. But it had all of those different salts and seeds on it that you might find on an everything bagel. It was really quite good. Poolish and Biga are what are called pre-ferment. These are made the day before, and by using a pre-ferment, you enhance the flavor. Usually you get a hearty artisan crust. You use a lot less yeast. You extend the shelf life of the bread, and it aids in digestion. Now, this does not mean that they are gluten-free. They still have gluten. When you use a pre-ferment, it also releases minerals into the bread, like iron and magnesium. So you make this the day before, and then the second day, you add this pre-fermented material into more flour and water to make your dough. And this is a picture of a biga at about 16 hours. You let these ferment for 12 to 16 hours, and you get a bubbly mixture that's almost like a batter. Poolish is thought to have been brought to France in the late 1800s. There's no formal evidence of this. You can't find it anywhere, but this is what is believed. The lore is that Polish immigrants brought the technique to France. The interesting part is Poolish is not the French word for Polish. It is actually an Old English term. About the same time, the Italians started doing the same thing. They called it a biga, and it was a very similar technique, but there is a difference. The Poolish is made in a 1-to-1 ratio of flour to water with just a pinch of yeast. A biga is made in a ratio of 2-to-1. So the Poolish is a much wetter dough. With Poolishes, you would make baguettes or pastries. With a biga, you're going to make more like ciabatta or a hearty Italian loaf. This is a Biga I made in a cast iron crock, so it's round, but you can see the hearty crust that cracked. This was actually a very delicious, hearty bread. So if you want a hearty crust with enhanced flavor, you want to go for the Pre-Ferment. If you want a soft sandwich dough, that's an enriched dough. If you use the Pre-Ferment, make sure that you listen for that crunch in the crust. Thanks for stopping by.